Hello and welcome to another episode of Focus On with me, Kiamogetse Mosepele. What remains for Africa? A continent in desperate need for energy, as over 600 million people on the continent go without power, while balancing the global push towards decarbonization in line with its global peers. We speak to Nigeria's Heirs Energies on their approach to sustainable energy solutions on the continent. We are at the later end of African Energy Week, and you come off of the fireside chat, but I know that's not your only appearance at this conference. One, just give us a wrap of this event in your opinion. How did it fare?
Yeah, so it has been a very interesting event. As a company that has ambitions for energy, to make impactful contributions to energy in Africa, it's very important that we are here and that we are able to contribute to the conversations around Africa energy. This morning I was on a fireside chat where we explored how possible is it for Nigeria to grow its oil production from about 1.5 billion to 2.5 billion, so the additional 1 million barrels which Nigeria Regulatory Agency is trying to orchestrate for the country. And I gave the different perspectives around what we needed to do in terms of changing our mindset from a risk mindset to a growth mindset, what we needed to do in the short term, which is really a rejuvenation of the onshore, and what we needed to do in the medium to long term, which is really around ensuring that we are able to attract new investments across the patch in onshore, in shallow water and deep water and along the value chain. Later this afternoon, I participated in the panel session that tried to explore quite a number of aspects around investments, and I talked there around, to a question that talked about what type of projects we get investments, and I talked about our own asset OMS 17, which we acquired in 2021, which attracted over $1 billion of investment. It's over 1 billion barrels of oil per day field, and the key things that needed to be in place, that we need to have a compelling financial proposition, that we needed to demonstrate strong operational leadership, that we need to be strong and show our track record in ESG, which we demonstrated as a group, and also the things related to safety, how we our partnership with host communities and all of that, and that as we go forward, there is still capital looking for good opportunities to invest in, and with those kind of attributes, those capital will come in. And I think if I pull back and I reflect on the whole event, I think this is a very good and becoming more and more an important platform for the conversation of Africa energy. I'm a very big proponent of the fact that Africa needs to look inwards to address its energy challenges. I talk about and I promote the concept and the movement called Energy Sufficiency for Africa, and I propose this from the context that we are in a situation of energy deficiency, and our transition has to be from energy deficiency to energy sufficiency.
It's interesting you've used the word transition in a way that is not normally mentioned when it is spoken in energy conferences like this, but I'd like to expand on that topic. Nigeria is known for its large oil deposits, but I understand that your company also operates within finding sustainable energy solutions for the country. I want you to just give us your vision or your approach towards the development of Nigeria's energy sector.
Yes, thank you very much. So, as a group, we are on a mission to build an integrated energy business that will be impactful across Africa, across the value chain. Today, we have position in Nigeria, and we are looking to deepen that position in Nigeria and also expand it continent-wide. So today we have oil and gas upstream, we have power generation, and we have power distribution. We are looking to expand each of these sectors in Nigeria and expand it to Africa, but importantly also build a renewables energy. When you look at the renewables energy play in Africa, there are many sources or many strands that are being worked. So you have solar being the most pervasive or the most prevalent. You have geothermal like in East Africa. You have wind in certain places, and you have hydro that's most applicable in certain locations. We will be looking at solar, and in our ecosystem and in our integrated energy play, we want to be definitive in solar.
And I also want to speak about the importance of collaboration, not only from a governance or public-private partnership side, but as well as in terms of regional trade.
Yes.
How important is that in terms of developing and servicing Nigeria's energy sector?
Yes, so for Africa to achieve its ambitions of economic development, of empowering the next generation of our youth to be gainfully employed and to make meaningful contributions to the continent, and for us to build a continent that really we'll be proud of to showcase any day. I think Africa needs to work more together with each other. Over the years, there has been too many areas where different blocks are formed along different lines. I think we need to collapse those blocks and think more as one Africa. And this is across all facets. And energy is one key facet. There are plentiful energy sources in one part of Africa that can easily reach another part of Africa. It may be in a different country faster than if that country tried to do it itself. So those kind of integration and collaboration becomes very important in the course of meeting that overall objective of building an Africa that is more financially and economically enabled.
And I want to pull back. You've mentioned stumbling blocks, you've mentioned some of the hindrances. Can you give us a more detailed picture as to why the progress that you're speaking of is not being made, or if it is not at scale that is attainable or satisfactory?
Yes. So I think the point to look at it is an evolution, it's a journey. There's been progress that has been made, but there's so much more progress that is needed. So there's been lots of focus around regional blocks or around alignments, either historical or political. But Africa needs to think more as one in terms of meeting its objectives. So we all need to be like fingers of a hand. To lift up something, you need all fingers. One finger by itself cannot lift up anything, however strong that finger is. And that's the way I think Africa needs to work together. We have an objective to lift up ourselves, and we need all fingers in the conversation.
And as we near the end of the year, I want your outlook into the next year and I guess following years after that in terms of Nigeria's energy sector.
So I think of it more of a wish and an appeal. For Nigeria, I would like to see a country that provides more, that gets to an energy secure situation across the entire value chain. So it's for petroleum liquids, it's for oil production to power its economy and for refineries, it's domestic gas and so many things on that level. To do all of that, all players have to be on board. Government and government agencies and regulatory agencies, the private sector, local authorities, communities. We all have to work together to build that system. I really would like to see a clear view of how we envision our future energy system to be, what the roadmap is to that, and at the interim milestones that we are meeting them. That's what I would like to see. And I and my company, Heirs Energies, is a very active and proactive contributor to building that energy future for Nigeria and for Africa.
And you emphasize a all-hands-on-deck approach towards achieving energy success within the country. I want to talk about bringing in or reeling in local content. Why is it so important to rely on or partner up with domestic sources in terms of building up the capacity that you're speaking of?
Yes. So local content is imperative. As I mentioned, our objective is to transform Africa, improve lives. To do that, we have to be more economically empowered. For the economic empowerment of Africa, we need to get more engagement of our populace, of our youth. And to do that, you then need to have more business, more activities, more transformational activities happening in the country. Without local content, all we will be is recipients of finished products. But with local content, we will be part shapers, part contributors, part of that value creation process of products, of solutions that work for us. And importantly, as Africans, we need to be in local content because we need to have African solutions to African problems. A lot of the reasons why some solutions that have been proffered in the past have not worked as efficiently as they've done in other places because they were initially designed for other places. They worked in those places, but when transported to Africa, lock, stock and barrel, they don't work here because the reality of Africa was not considered in the design of that solution. So the local content helps make sure that solutions will be as impactful on ground as intended because they take in local considerations and local ambitions into play.
And lastly, just before we close, I want to go back to oil. Oil is a subject to volatility, and in the current macroeconomic environment, whether it be the recent results in the US elections, or the regulatory environment and the policy reforms in place in Nigeria, what is his approach towards mitigating some of the risks that is associated with the resource?
I think when you look at it, one of the biggest volatilities is price. And the best mitigation is to be the best and lowest cost operator. So our prime focus is to ensure that we are sustainable at any price.
And that's how we wrap up another episode of Focus On with me, Giamakotso Mosipili. From myself and the CNBC Africa team, it's goodbye for now.